Hi and welcome to DEPHEMEREMBER, your daily ephemera inspiration in December. My name is Luisa Heinzel and in collaboration with 49 Dragonflies, I'm showing you different ideas to make your own junk journal ephemera out of basic supplies. Today's prompt is lace and timetable or calendar. I have this cute little paper from such a tear-off calendar here that I want to use as a reference for today's project. That means I would like to make my own calendar papers like this, with the help of some really easy materials and with a technique that I want to show you today for my background. That hopefully is a new idea for you. I have figured that out the other day and I thought, oh, that's brilliant. So hopefully you have not seen this idea before. So let me tell you something about that. So as you can see, I have my distress brushes here on my desk. And perhaps you know this day when those brushes tell you that they want to be cleaned. When you have used them over and over again with your distress inks or distress oxide inks, then they get a little bit strange with the time and you have to clean them from time to time. And normally I would go to the sink with my brushes and just wash this ink off. But of course that would be a really big waste of ink. So I thought about a way how we can save this ink and make something beautiful out of this. So for my background, I'm using some thicker watercolor paper and I would recommend to use a really thick paper for this project because you're using much water and you have to use a paper that can handle a lot of water. I'm spritzing the water directly to my brushes, but also to the background so that there can be a connection between these little hairs of the brush and the paper. The water brings this connection so that the ink can come off from the brush. I had some problems with my spray bottle here because, the water was not willing to come out. But if you have a normal spray bottle that works, then this will be no problem. Just spritz your water to the background and to your brush, then lay the brush upside down to the paper and wait a little bit. And then you can just press the brush to the paper to see if the ink comes out. And as you can see here, this orange or red ink, it's not very much, even if I know that there's way more ink in this brush. If you see a result like this, just spritz more water. And perhaps you can see that in the camera, the surface of these little hairs of the brush gets like one. You can't see the single hairs anymore. And if that happens, you know that you have the right amount of water. And then you can just play around and try different things. You can also spritz more water to the paper, of course, if you think, oh, there are some areas that are too intensive, for example, then just spritz more water to the paper. And then you can play around and create your background like you want it. And here I have some brushes that have brown, I mean this vintage photo brown, I guess, and some of this red orangey thingy. I don't want to have this orange on my paper later, so that means I have to mix this a little bit. But of course you can do that like you want it. You could also let this dry as it is, and then you will have a really colorful background and you would see the single colors on your result later as well. Here I have some green and that stuff that definitely would be worth it to try that out and just let it dry. But for this project, I only wanted to show you this technique, how this can work. But I need a calm background. So in a second, I will mix this up a little bit. And of course, perhaps you don't know which colors will come out of your brush. Then, of course, you have always the possibility to mix them, spritz water, move the paper around like I'm doing it here, and get a yeah, more calm background, but just by mixing the colors. These inks are mainly distress oxide inks. They are mixing not so extremely. I mean, if you mix many colors, you will have a gray or a brown in the end, perhaps. But in this case, the result is really, really interesting. I don't know, to be honest, I don't know how this will go with the normal distress inks, but of course you can try that out. And perhaps you want to share your results somewhere on Instagram or wherever, then please tag me. I would be really interested in the things that you create with this technique. For me, it's new as well. And of course, yeah, I'm always happy when we can exchange our ideas and our results, and perhaps you come to a totally different idea. And yeah, of course, I would be happy to get to know about that. Yeah, so let's go on. I've tried to get this more calm, as I said. I've taken this fabric thingy here to get a little bit off from these darker areas, because I realized that it's really, really intensive. And of course, this fabric, I will not throw it away or something like that. I will use that for my clusters or some collages or that stuff. And of course, you could also dye some fabric with the used distressing brushes. I have done that before, and that works really, really well, and the results are really crazy and really surprising, so try that out. Okay, so the prompt list says lace, and I would like to include my lace not only to my finished ephemera piece as a real physical piece of lace, but I also want to have the pattern of my lace on my background. And for that, I've tried out different things, as you can see here now. So first of all, I tried to spritz some water to my brush here, and then I tried to press that through this lace. But as you can see, it's not enough. The lace is not soaked enough with this thingy there, with this ink and the water. So I've tried to spritz some more water to bring, to make this a little bit more intensive and to get more out of this piece of lace. I mean, more pattern. And then I've tried to use my brayer to press this a little bit. As you can see, the result is a little bit better. I get some of these some marks of this lace. It looks interesting, but that was not what I wanted. I mean, you can get some really how is that called, really light and filigrane patterns to your paper with this technique, but that was not enough for me, and that was not what I had in my head. So I have taken my spray bottle again. This time there is some distress oxide ink mixed with water in this spray bottle, and I've just spritzed that to my lace, and then I've dried that with my heat gun. And this way the paper gets wet again, and with this heat you can get a really cool result. As you can see here, the oxide ink also reacts with the water again, and this way you can get a way more intensive result. And I think for such a calendar paper, it's really interesting to have this feeling of, like it is used. I also tried to spritz my lace with water, because I want, just with water, not with this oxide ink water mixture, but only with water, because I wanted to know the difference between the one thing and the other thing. And as you can see here, it is a difference, and it comes out really, really different than the first one. It's more abstract if you only spritz water. And I think it's a good idea to put the lace into some ink before you spritz water, so that you have some ink in this lace, but the main medium is water that you are using. And if you use your heat gun to dry this, please make sure that you don't burn your lace. I mean, you have to hold it really close to the lace, but please make sure that you move it around a little bit so that you don't burn the lace or your table or whatever, or your paper or your fingers, or you know. My end result looks like this, and I'm really, really happy with this. And here we have the next letter for the giveaway. The informations about the giveaway are down below in the description box. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, please check that out. There's written down everything that you need to know, how to enter and that stuff. And here I'm trying to get the right size for my little calendar papers. I've just used the original paper to get the size, and then I've just cut that with my paper trimmer. And now I would like to imitate this teared edge on the top. So this is the part where the original calendar was, together, you know, and then every day you can tear off one of these papers, and then you have this teared edge. And of course I need this on my ephemera pieces as well, and on my little calendar pieces here. So I've just teared a little bit of this paper there, really irregular, because on this original calendar it wouldn't be regular as well. To make this vintage look, I've also distressed that a little bit, and for this I've used my wet brush that I had from this technique before. And as you can see, this gives me a really interesting, really unusual distressed frame of this whole thing, and I really like this. Try that out. Let that dry, and yeah, it looks like it has become wet or something like that. That looks really, really interesting. And now I would like to add the month and of course the day and the number of the day to my calendar pieces here. And for this plan I'm using a real calendar from don't know, 2020 I think. Or I don't know. It's not relevant. So I've just cut out some of these numbers, not knowing what of this paper exactly I want to use, but I wanted to have a reference as well. I wanted to see how this is written into my book calendar there, so that I have the possibility to play around a little bit with my arrangement on my own ephemera calendar pieces here. And the easiest thing I think is to first put the month to these little calendar cards. So there the month is on the very top, and here we have the next letter for the giveaway. As I said, all the information is down below in the description box, so please check that out if you want to win, I would say a relatively cool prize. So first I wanted to leave these papers white as they came from my calendar, but then I've decided that this is too boring for me. So to stay in this distress oxide medium theme, I've decided that I want to use some distress oxide here as well to make these a little bit more interesting. And yeah, the main reason was that I don't want it to have them white. So I have put some of this green distress oxide ink to my acrylic block. Then I've spritzed some water. And then I've just dipped my paper pieces into there. And what you could see here a second ago, that was a tiny bit of this distress oxide vintage photo refiller ink mixed with water to make this green not too vibrant. I wanted this vintage look on this green papers as well. And here I really didn't know which parts of these little papers I wanted to use, so I colored them I mean, the whole surface of these papers, even if I'm using only a few pieces later, but here I haven't thought about that. And of course, it's way more easy to put a bigger piece of paper into such an ink thingy there, like a smaller piece. So it's easier to handle. I've tried that with my heat gun as well, and then I've just cut out the month. This says December in German, Dezember. Oh, I think I should make a little German lesson here as well. I think it's a long time since I have done that, but some of you said that they really appreciate that, and yeah, that originally that was a joke the other day, and some of you said, oh, that would be fine if we get some German lessons. So December is Dezember in German, Dezember. And yeah, what else can I say? Oh, in December there's Christmas. Christmas is Weihnachten. Merry Christmas is frohe Weihnachten oder fröhliche Weihnachten. You can also say fröhliche Weihnachten. Okay, so let's go back to this project and let's arrange these little labels here. I have used this book page to make sure that all of these December pieces are in the right place, that they all are at the same height. So I've fixed my background thingies there to my table with some washi tape, and then I've just stick the book page to this calendar papers there with some washi tape as well to get a straight line to put my labels on top. Of course, you could also use a ruler and make a little line or whatever. And please don't be so stupid like I am here and get these little things under the book page. Oh my goodness. Yeah, such filigrane things are really hard for me to do, especially when there's more than one of these things. Okay, so after we have placed this book page, I think we can glue that down. I made it a little bit different, as you can see, like on my reference calendar paper. But I think, yeah, we are junk journaler. We are artists, and we, of course, can do it like we want it. And on the original paper, there are definitely some things that I can't bring, and I'm not willing to bring that to my ephemera piece. So I have to search for a new arrangement of these things. And here we have the next letter for the giveaway. Okay, so after this is glued, I've decided that I want to make those numbers next because, yeah, of course, this is the main thing on such a calendar page. This number, I mean this date of this page. For that, I've made some marks as well so that I know how big this, I mean, how high this number can be. And if you have some numbers that you can cut out, then cut them out. If you have some stamps that you can use to stamp those numbers, then please stamp them. Because I have nothing of this, what I've mentioned before, and I had to write and then, draw them by myself. And to be honest, yeah, it's a handmade piece, but I'm not so happy with the outcome of those numbers. You will see that in a second when I have finished that. It's not so nice. I mean, I wanted to have some numbers that are next to each other. I mean, if you make 24, 25, 26, for example, then you always have this 2 that's the same. 4, 5, and 6 would not be so difficult because they all look different. But if you have numbers that all have a 2, for example, then you would like to try to make this 2 in the same way on every card, and that's impossible if you do it with your own handwriting or if you paint it like I'm doing it here. So yeah, I gave my best, but I'm not so happy. You know how I am, and that I like those things really regular and really no. You will see that in a second. So I have 20, what am I doing here? 21, 22, 24 and 25, or what am I doing here? I think so. So let's practice some numbers in German. 20 is 20. 20. 21 is 21. I mean, it's the other way around. In English, it's 21, 2, 1, and in German, it's the other way around. 21, 1, 1 und 20. 1 and 20. 21. Does that make sense? 22 is 22. 23 is 23. That's the same. 3, 3, and then it's 23, 3 and 20. So that would be the one-to-one translation of this number. Hopefully that makes sense. So perhaps you don't want to learn German, but you want to know which pen I've used to color these numbers here. So this is just a very cheap alcohol pen. I have this from Action. I don't know, overseas you don't know this shop, but the people in, for example, Germany or Belgium or the Netherlands, they know this shop. I was really surprised how black or gray, it's a gray pen, how gray this came out on this background. It worked really well, even if it's really cheap. But of course, you can use any black pen that you have. An Edding, for example, would work really well here as well. And then I took out my phone to check my calendar to write the right days to my pages here. So in this year, December the 21st is a Tuesday. So I have written Dienstag, Tuesday, Dienstag. The 23rd is a Thursday, so I have written Donnerstag. And Christmas Eve here in Austria, or not only in Austria, but you know what I mean. Overseas, Christmas Eve is on 25th, isn't it? So here we are celebrating Christmas on Friday, Freitag, the 24th of December. And Samstag is the 25th, and that's Saturday. Saturday is Samstag. Oh my goodness. Okay. On this original calendar page of my book calendar, there were some of these strange symbols that you never need when you read a calendar. So, I mean, they are there, but to be honest, I don't know for what they are there, but I wanted to imitate some of these. So there are some moons and some suns, some clouds and that stuff. And I know that this has to do with this moon calendar thingy, but I don't have an idea how this really works. So I've decided that I want to have some of these symbols there in a really simple way, I would say. If you perhaps are searching for such small stamps like I'm using here, it's a good idea to search for those bullet journal stamps. These are, these stamps I have bought on an online flea market, I don't know, a few years ago, and they are really, really tiny and really cute. And even if they have these weather symbols, they are really versatile. I like to stamp with those tiny stamps to, for example, labels or backgrounds or even to those little cluster thingies or a snippet roll or something like that, where you need really fine details. And why not stamping a sun or a cloud or something like that to an ephemera piece like a snippet roll, for example, that gives this, yeah, this special effect. Do you know what I mean? We are talking about special effects, so let's splatter some gold. I wanted to try to bring my really, really weird numbers here to a next level. I mean, I wanted to have them a little bit more artsy and get the eye off from this weird shape of those numbers. I'm really not happy with these two thingies there, and yeah, so I tried to make the best out of this thing. I mean, I've put much time into these cards and I wanted to have them in a way that I can be satisfied with in the end, and I want to use them in my journal. And if I don't like them, of course, I wouldn't put them into any journal. So yeah, I think with these gold splatters, it's okay for me, and I think I can use them somewhere in one of my journals. And now I would like to add some lace because, yeah, the prompt list says lace. We have used the lace for the background, but I also wanted to have this same pattern somewhere on my little cards here. And of course, if you are following the prompt list of this December daily series, you have to use lace for this day. But if you don't have lace and you want to imitate something like this, of course, you could also use a piece of fabric. You could tear an old t-shirt, for example, to get those little strips of fabric. You could use a fabric shopping bag and tear that, or yeah, use something that you don't need anymore. Even some plastic packaging would work for such a little tab as well. So this shall be something that you can use later, to get this card in and out from a pocket much more easily. So if you put that into a pocket, then you can grab this little lace thingy and then just take it out. It's way more easy. And of course, this looks way more interesting with another pattern, another material. And I also like this mixture of different materials in my junk journal projects so that you can, feel something when you go over this with your hands. Now you could leave it like it is and let it hang there, or you could glue that to the back side. I really like that, because if you use this as a journaling card later and you color the back side, for example, and then you write on it, or you leave it white and then write on it, then you have an interesting thing on the back side as well, when you have this lace there, this little piece. And of course, you could also use this little piece of lace on the back side to start, for example, a new collage, or to doodle around something, or whatever, paint some flowers around this lace. I really like to have this in a functional way, but also that it gives me new inspiration for new projects and new ephemera pieces, or my journaling process itself. For the gluing here, I have used some bookbinders glue. I really like to use this glue because you could also glue fabric and lace and ribbon and that stuff. It holds really, really strong. But you could also use some Fabri-Tac, for example, or any other strong glue. Or another possibility would also be to staple this. That looks also really cute. Yeah, so these are my little, some kind of vintage artsy tear-off calendar pieces. I hope you like them. And, don't forget that. Of course, we need some staples here on top, because we want this illusion of this part where the page can be teared or was teared. So I have added that as well. Ooh, don't forget that, Louise. So I wish you a lot of fun by making your own calendar pieces like this. And please don't forget to check out 49 Dragonfly's channel today as well. The link is down below in the description box. She has another idea to make ephemera with today's prompt, lace, and timetable or calendar. Thank you very much for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.